All right, family. We right black. We right black. It's the Truth Hour with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com online marketplace, official General Sarah Soon Seti t-shirts. That's right. We got them fly heavyweight revolutionary t-shirts. African and Kemetic jewelry for the family out there. Got a lot of fly pieces, just a few for you to, very powerful, very fly for the family. We got holistic tonics and remedies at kingseti.com. Keep you, keep you strong in these trying times. As far as the health is concerned, we need to have our immune system as strong as possible. And so we got holistic tonics and remedies for the family. We also got home decor for the family that's trying to transform their African home into the African temple that they always wanted. And so you get on over there, family. Get on over there, kingseti.com, online marketplace, and get you some of that fly products that we got over there. That's right. Generalseti.com, SETI University. Class is now in session. Class is now in session. We got over 800 lectures and videos, too raw for YouTube, banned video, SETI debates, Freemasonry, occult science, all world religions, black power, politics, and economics. Highlights from over 50 cities, General SETI street battle, behind the scene footage, video, and radio interviews, SETI with the grandmasters, ancient civilization and mythology. Join today. This is the complete General Sarah Soon Seti website and library. You can't go wrong. Flat out, you be binging on Black Power, on generalseti.com. And we already know we keep it popping on Patreon. General Seti keep it popping on Patreon. We got over 150 exclusive live streams where General Seti .com SETI University is the library. Patreon is the lecture hall. Patreon is the lecture hall. We got over 150 exclusive live streams. The Jesuit medical mafia takeover. That's one of them. The Legend of the Skunk 8, the Caveman in early America. Can't put that one up on YouTube. Even the Jesuit medical mafia takeover. In dealing with what's going on today. If you get the raw version, you're gonna get took down. Period. Where are the original books of the Bible? Who are the seeds of the devil on earth? And so we keep it popping on Patreon, family. And so make sure you also that you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti, and King Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Share it with your friends and family. Comment. Say whatever the fuck you feel. Just don't say nothing too goddamn disrespectful. Because I'm gonna put your ass up off of here. That's real talk. You see, and so with today we're gonna be dealing with, we're dealing with the situation over there in the South Pacific. They didn't went over there. They didn't went over there, and they didn't mess with the so-called the dragon. they didn't went over. They didn't went over there and mess with the dragon. Let me get it. Okay, we good. And so today we got to find out, is China a paper dragon? Cause they obviously they think the motherfuckers a paper dragon. They selling up inside this motherfucker shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't shit. This is China. They talking about Russia right now. They saying Russia ain't doing all. Yeah, they can bomb the motherfucker, but when it come down on the ground and shit, they getting their, they getting, for them to be number 2 in the world as far as military, that they getting beat up. They supposed to went in there and demolished their ass and got, but they have not done that. They have not seized the capital. They have not removed the government. And yeah, they fucking it up now. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? But you wasting a lot of your shit over there. On a little country and shit. You know what I'm saying? And if you get into it, and so people don't see that, he's reaching out. He's reaching out to a lot of his allies, such as China, because he need a handout. You know what I'm saying? You know, he need a handout. You stay in war long enough and you're not replenishing. And it take a minute to make some of that shit. You just can't make that shit overnight. Some of that shit require time. And so, if you deplete your arsenal, then you have to rely on your allies to back you up. And so, this was the United States intention. That's what they said that they wanted to do. They said they wanted to deplete his arsenal. You know what I'm saying? They want to deplete his arsenal to where if he have to get into it with somebody else immediately, after goddamn Ukraine, that he gonna be in trouble. He's gonna be in trouble, and so so is China the same type? Because we know China makes some cheap shit. They make some cheap shit now. We can't act like this is not true. Chinese make some cheap shit. They making certain aircrafts, fighter jets and shit, and they still have to purchase, the turbines from Russia. They haven't caught up. So what they've been doing technically is taking Russian and airplanes and shit and all of that and remaking them. What they call reverse engineering. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't necessarily possess, the original technology. They're not the impetus of the technology. They taking it from other people who have created. And so, a lot of people have always said that, China was stealing technology. They've been accused of doing that but what the fuck do you expect? This is war, and so you can't blame no motherfucker for taking your shit and you using the shit on him. You using the shit on him and you mad because the motherfucker took some shit and remade it. You mad because he done took some shit and remade it. But sometimes when you remake some shit, hold on, family, let me get some water. Sometimes when you take some shit and remake it, you don't necessarily possess all of the ingenuity that it would take, to start from scratch. You don't possess all of the ingenuity that it would take to do it from scratch. And so that, but the one thing about that is they got them nukes now. They got them nukes. Now, how many they got? They always count the motherfuckers. Say motherfucker got these many nukes. You don't know how many motherfucking nukes a motherfucker got. Why a motherfucker gonna tell you? You ever known a motherfucker to let you know how many guns they got and shit, this, that, and the third? You fuck with a motherfucker and find out. You know what I'm saying? You fuck around and you fuck with the wrong motherfucker, you might find out too goddamn late. You might find out too goddamn late. And so, but the one thing that we must state is that the United States is in their house. Not saying that to say, but that says a whole lot. So if you got enough nuts to be in another motherfucker house like that, obviously you possess some shit. That's the way I look at it. You selling all up through the straits, and so the Chinese have been performing military operations in the Taiwan Straits now, I believe, for 6 days. They've totally circled the island. Now, like I said in the last video, if you don't know about Taiwan, during World War II, Japan literally had taken over large areas of China. Let me see if I got a map. Let me see if I got a map of the areas that Japan took over. I should have had that. If not, I believe. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is one of them right here. You see, so you got to understand. Japan had taken over Korea, Manchuria, which later became a part of China, and some of the eastern seaboard just took over. Took over parts of Burma, Vietnam, all of that shit. Indonesia, which they got Dutch Indies, Philippines. They took over all that shit. So that was the Japanese Empire. Even what they call goddamn, Taiwan. And it looked like at that time it was called Formosa. You know what I'm saying? Formosa. And so people have to understand what's really going on. And so when Japan attacked United States, United States was funding a lot of China. You know what I'm saying? And not only did, after that shit, you could see where the Europeans before the war even jumped off, they was already in there. You know what I'm saying? They was already in there. They were already in there. You can see the orange was where the Russian had Mongolia, Manchuria. They had their hand in there. You had the British in the green, Tibet, Nepal, Chanyang River, leading to Shanghai. They also had control over Hong Kong. You see, they had control over Hong Kong. You see the purple, and this was before the Japanese even, during World War II, where they got larger portions of that area. And so you see the Japanese also had some land there. So they was over there. And so you can see why China is like, being as strong, and then gather the kind of strength. They ready to retaliate. Now you could imagine how scared Japan is. You know what I'm saying? After controlling so much. And and if even if you watch the movie Ip Man, them Japanese was brutal as fuck on all of their ass. It's not funny. The Japanese was brutal as fuck. They talk about goddamn Hitler and what Hitler, but they rarely talk about what the Japanese did. You know what I'm saying? Shit. They killed damn near as many people. Shit. I mean, real talk. they was very brutal. You know, they was brutal on the Korean, and the Koreans and the fucking Japanese right now to this day still, and that I don't believe they on good terms. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know they, based on the fact that you know, both of them are allies with the United States. Based on what the fuck the Japanese did in Korea, they still don't see eye to eye at all. You know what I'm saying? It's some bad blood over there. You know, it's some bad blood about, because they committed atrocities on all them nations when they committed atrocities on the Chinese. So you imagine that them motherfuckers is probably scared as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They probably scared as a motherfucker because you know China is much stronger than than what it than what it was, and so they the big they the powerhouse of the day. And so as China began you know its revolutionary guerrilla warfare against Japan to get them out of there. See, the United States was over there funding a lot of that guerrilla warfare. But, you had two different factions. You know what I'm saying? You had the communists and you had the nationalists. Now, I forget the guy's name who was, I know Mao Zedong was the head of the communists. And then you had the guy who was the head of the nationalists. And eventually he would lose out to Mao Zedong. And when he lost to Mao Zedong, he fled to Taiwan, what today is Taiwan. And from that point on, you see, this is how Taiwan developed into what it is. Okay, what was that guy's name? Let me see what that guy's name was. I might not even be able to fucking pronounce it if I did. I just, I saw the guy's name. What's this guy's name? I ain't gonna look for it too long. I saw I ain't gonna look for it. I'll get it for the next time. But what happened was, it seems to be that Mao Zedong wasn't gonna fall for the shit that United States, because they was funding his ass for a minute too, and then they stopped funding him. They stopped funding him because it seemed to be that Mao Zedong wasn't going for that shit that the United States was trying to put down. So they end up supporting the guy that lost, the guy that led the nationalists. You see what I'm saying? He fled to Taiwan. And since, you back the loser, that's why, Mao Zedong and the Chinese didn't even fuck with goddamn United States for a long time just because of that. You see? And so, you didn't fund it. And so you see that the support that United States didn't have, you see, it's been going on from even World War II. You see what I'm saying? This shit has been going on. And so they've been funding, they was the, funding that guy from day one. And so the group that's over there today, United States been supporting their ass since, the World War II and the revolutionary guerrilla warfare of China that brought China into its nationalist state, modern nationalist state under Mao Zedong. You see? And so now China, it's like, they bigger now. They not the little, they not the little, they not the paper dragon. They was paper back then for real. Now, but the thing is that China has not fought a major war. They ain't been in no real scraps like that. You know what I'm saying? And just because you big don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean a motherfucking thing. Sometimes technology will do some shit. Sometimes it won't. I was looking at the Korean War and shit, and Korean War was really basically another war with the United States against the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about the Korean, because many of them, what is a Korean? Many of them goddamn, China knew, if they didn't support North Korea, that United States would be right there in their gut. Right, North Korea sit right up under goddamn, right there under China. So they would be deep, they would be deep, 1,000 miles deep. You know what I'm saying? North into the belly of China. And so, of course, they would help, North Korea to fight that war. And so a lot of them soldiers that you see that were fighting in Korea was from China. That's the only reason they didn't take the North, because they flooded so many of them Chinese soldiers in there. So United States been fighting wars with China for a minute. You see what I'm saying? They've been in that motherfucker fighting war and shit. And you can even the goddamn Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? Shit. But they end up having to come up out of that motherfucker. They end up having to come up out of there, but all of that. And so, United States track record over there, you done warred in Korea, you done warred in and you know what? And I'm gonna say it like this, I'm the one where I sit in the back and I sit and look, and really I'm not taking no sides in the I'm with this motherfucker. If it come down to a motherfucker dropping bombs now, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm not rooting for no other side. You know what I'm saying? Until my people can get their shit together, you know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for the motherfucker that's gonna keep the bombs over, from off of our babies. That's the way, and it ain't gonna be like I'm out, cheerleading or nothing, but in my heart and mind, I'm not gonna be, against a motherfucker to lose, and my babies and shit, my family over in this motherfucker, and they gonna run up in this motherfucker, because we see how wars go. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no motherfucking game, at all. This ain't no motherfucking game. And so, Japan did, drop bombs on motherfucking Hiroshima, sunk out on Pearl Harbor. They did, bomb the shit out of Pearl Harbor. And I don't believe the United States was effectively participating in that war at that time. I don't believe they was. Or was they effectively in that war? I believe when they bombed Pearl Harbor, that's what brought them into World War II. I believe that's what brought them in. I believe that's what brought them into the war. You know what I'm saying? And so, if you bomb a motherfucker and he go over there and he start conquering shit, then you know what I'm saying? Then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you bomb this man shit And you know, and then the man go over there and get the bomb in your shit, then it is what it is. But the fact becomes that was, you know, damn near 60 years ago. You know, you talking about damn near 100 years ago. You know, I don't think it was 100, but, you know, you talking about 60, 70 years ago. These motherfuckers is much stronger than that now. You know, so, you know, you might have been able, you know what I'm saying, they might have remembered the times. You know, yeah, when you was whooped. Now they done got a little, you know, the younger than grew up. They don't necessarily remember them ass whoopings. You know, they grandmamas and they grandmamas and they mamas and you know, and they might remember them ass whoopings, but these young motherfuckers don't remember them ass whoopings. You know what I'm saying? And they don't give a fuck. They more prone to want to fight your ass. You know what I'm saying? They more prone to want to fight your ass. And so, it's a new day. But all I could say is that, what's happening where, United States is perched out in they still over there. They got major bases in Japan. They got major bases in Japan. Let me see. I got so many down. You see right here the blue, the nations in blue are where, allies, where they got bases. So you got bases in Korea, South Korea, Japan, Australia, the Philippines, and Thailand. You see, and that's strategic. That's very strategic. Of how they got their positioning over there. But at the same time, that's not enough people. That's not gonna be enough. That's not gonna be enough when unless they feel like they got technology that we not privy to know about. You got 56,000 troops in Japan, and you got 26,000 in South Korea. And then you got the U.S. 7th Fleet, which I believe, I don't know if that's 57 ships in that fleet or it's 57,000 troops involved with that fleet. And then you got Guam, which is 6,000. But see, you got, they capable of hitting Guam. They're capable of hitting Korea and Japan. You see what I'm saying? And so, they've technically surrounded Taiwan at this moment, and they're performing all type of fucking, military drills, which is, a dry run for possible invasion. They done technically blockaded the island. Up at the North Taipei, that's their capital. That's where their international airport is located. So they didn't shut down the airport. Then you got, down very in the south, where this is where the largest trading ports are located. That's blockaded. And so really, so they didn't stop anybody from basically leaving or coming onto the island. So technically that's a blockade. Ain't nobody. And so the question becomes, what happens if they stay there? Because you talking about the Taiwan Strait. They depended upon that strait for a lot of fucking international trade. So, is what's gonna happen if they choose, and you got Chinese politicians that saying this is gonna be the new norm. This is gonna be the new norm. You know what I'm saying? And so if it's gonna be the new norm, then that means that these nations, the Western nations not gonna be able to sell up in there. Now, what has happened, the United States is right there. They in the Philippine Sea, which is right, right up under, right but they ain't in, they ain't in the Taiwan Straits, but they is in the Philippine Sea. And so, and so United China do have aircraft carriers. One at the I believe at the mouth or the of the Taiwan Strait, and then they got one deeper down. As you can see, the Shandong, which is a aircraft carrier. You see, let me see if I got pictures of that aircraft carrier. I believe I do. I believe I do. I believe this is it right here. This is it right here. So it can carry 36 J-15 fighter jets. And I don't know if that was the knockoff or the, or the F-35. It's a knockoff. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's most definitely a formidable weapon. you know. And then this is the other one, So they got both of the aircraft carriers, and so and then, but you got the United States got the USS Gerald Ford, and this is a nuclear aircraft carrier. This motherfucker is run on nuclear, so they don't even have to refuel that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They might have to stop and pick up some food, but they got damn near a 90 aircraft on that motherfucker. 90 Hornets, F-35C jets, SH-60 helicopters. You know what I'm saying? Got 4 missile systems. And so, but the thing is, China is boasting that they can sink United States aircraft carriers. They saying that they can sink it. You know, that's yet to be seen, but that's what they threatening, that they can sink the United States aircraft carrier. You know, I it, that's critical. I'm gonna just say that that's critical. Because if they sink that motherfucker, I can't see them. If they sink that motherfucker, I just can't. I can't. It's gonna go to nuclear warfare. That's real talk. I can't see it not happening. You know, if they sink that motherfucker, that would be like, that'll be that shit'll be like uh 9/11, probably. That shit'll be like 9/11 times 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? The moral devastation that it would do to the United States to have a motherfucker sink what is supposed to be the gem of they military arsenal. You know what I'm saying? The gem of their military arsenal. And so for, and they threatening, they threatening that they could sink it. And so let me see, look at some of the weaponry that they possess. Because I know they got that hypersonic missile. They got that hypersonic missile. Where is that weaponry at? Okay, here go one. So it's that hypersonic missile. I believe it's called the DF-ZF hypersonic missile. And that motherfucker supposed to be able to go 3,800 miles an hour. You know, the payload is unknown, but a lot of people believe they could put a nuke on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's very devastating, and United States was lagging behind in that type of shit. Where they don't even, Russia and China was developing that hypersonic missile, where the United States wasn't developing it. You know what I'm saying? They were developing other shit, but they got caught behind the gun. Now I see they trying to catch up. You know what I'm saying? To catch up. So, you up against a formidable foe. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. United States, and as you see right here, this so-called DF-41 nuclear missile, this motherfucker got a range of 9,300 miles. You see, that motherfucker got and so when you look at the United States, and I don't, you got the Minuteman 3, it got 8,000 miles. 8,000 miles. They, with a speed of 17,500 miles per hour, and then you got China's is 9,300 miles at 19,000 miles a hour, and it can carry 12 warheads. Where the Minuteman has only got 3 warheads. You know, and so I don't is the cable, is China. China seem like it's got some serious capabilities. There's no damn doubt about it. But is it, has it been tested in warfare? That's what it boils down to. You can have a lot of toys, but you don't know what the fuck it could do until you test it in warfare. And so the thing is about it that United States got a lot of shit that then been tested in warfare, you know. And then so that's the critical thing about that, you know. And so, but you know, United States is selling up and down their coastline. You see, they is selling up and down they coastline. And so they didn't cut the strait off. And so what's gonna happen is that either, the Western nations gonna try to fucking open it back up, what they're gonna do. Because that's gonna shut down trade. And believe me, you think shit's slowing down now. If they don't open that goddamn strait up, you think it's some shortages now? It's gonna be a whole lot more goddamn shortages. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a whole lot more goddamn shortages, you know, around the world because they got a nice percentage of you know of their trade coming through that strait from Japan to from Korea and shit like that. And all the you got Taiwan, that produce a lot of semiconductors. You know what I'm saying? That shit going to computers, military shit, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so you shutting down a lot of shit. So you know what? I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna get critical. It's critical now, but it's gonna get a whole lot more critical if we're gonna see in a minute who bluffing. Straight up. We're gonna see who bluffing. Because, you know, if China can take that area and shut down a lot of the trade, you're going to see a lot of these Western nations, they will begin to diminish immediately. A lot of them are already diminishing just with the war with Russia. Because they got the Russians control their gas and shit. And so to get into a war with Russia and China at the same time, now that's the one I'm going to be dealing with on my Patreon tonight. You see what I'm saying? Well, I'm gonna discuss whether United States can take on Russia and China. You know what I'm saying? Which is, and we're gonna look, and it's really it's coming together to be something so critical because what's happening. I'm showing this right here because right above, the Taiwan Strait. See, this is, you got Korea and South Korea and Japan, which are allies of the United States. And so of course, that they would probably operate, uh in the Sea of Japan. There's probably a lot of operation between United States, Korea, and and Japan in that area. But you see, North Korea got the capability to hit over there. You see, and so they going, they about to disrupt all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna disrupt all that shit if it come down to the get down. Cause you already know when you talking about who gonna side with who. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna side with who? And so when you look at, the fact that Russia got 6,000 nukes, North Korea got 20, China got 350, India got 160, Pakistan got 165, and more than likely, if it's an all-out war, that those two nations will come in, India and Pakistan. Pakistan will probably more than likely roll with Russia and China, and India will more than likely roll with the U.S. You see what I'm saying? And that's gonna be critical. You got Israel with 90, you know, and the thing is, that's not the only flaring nuclear possibility of war, because Pakistan and India is beefing. India and China is beefing. They got, shit going on that border between India, in that, I believe, I don't know if it's the Kashmir region or whatever, where there's a land dispute in there. You see, it's a land dispute. So China and India is beefing. India and Pakistan is beefing. And there's also high escalation going on right now in Israel between, Hezbollah and, a lot of the Iranian proxies that's in that area. You see, and so, they saying that Iran is lacing a lot of Hezbollah and they proxies in Syria, and so with some greater technology where they can, they got some precision guided missiles. They ain't just flinging no shit. They gonna be able to direct them goddamn missiles, to some coordinates, and hit critical shit. So you know what I'm saying? So it could technically, and then Israel and Russia is in there. They in fucking Syria, and that's they allies and shit. So if it go down, it's a possibility that Israel and Russia, could come into conflict. They could come into conflict, and and Israel being a smaller nation, they might have to, play on the nuke shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just critical right now. And so this is the first time in history where you could probably have, you know, 3 or 4 nations on each side with nuclear capabilities. That's critical. That's critical. That's very, very critical to know this, that you could have, 3 or 4 nations on each side with nuclear capabilities. And so, is China a paper dragon, or has the United States bit off more than it could chew? You're going to find out very soon. You're going to find out very soon, family, because it's, and it's crazy that we've allowed these cavemen to amass this kind of power and put the world, in the under the threat of annihilation like that. You know, you know, and so again, if they don't open that straight up, because like if they don't open that straight up, there's gonna be some problems. It's gonna be some problems, but in the end, and I must state that on this, that, this very well could be a part of the Great Reset. This could be, because, regardless to what they are trying to use this pandemic as a means to reset the world. This is Klaus Schwab, who's out, who's the leader of the World Economic Forum, young globalist leaders, where he's training all these leaders, you understand, to implement this great reset. And so, he's saying that Putin came up under him. I could play it, matter of fact, I'll play it, I'm gonna be updating you on this because this is not going away no time soon. And so you see right there, China's leader, he's there too. He's there too. He's at Davos. You're talking about Davos, Switzerland, Davos, Switzerland. And you see right there this motherfucker look like the emperor off of goddamn Star Wars. You understand what I'm saying? This is George Soros. He's there. Another founder of destroying nations and economies and shit. And so he's and so they all you saying that now I don't know about Xi Jinping or whatever, but he's there, and they know that there's and so we also understand that this is pandemic started in China, in their laboratories. You know what I'm saying? And so is this some shit that's being implemented through strategy, that is being laid out through strategy, every step being initiated through strategy to bring about a great reset? Are they all in on it? Is all this shit happening like coordinated, how you have coordinated bombs go off, boom 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 boom, you know what I'm saying? Is this what's happening? We got to keep our eyes open, family, most definitely. It's critical out here. There's no time to be playing at all. You got to have, and so when you go back to ancient Egypt and you see that eye, that's exactly what it means. Keep all eyes open, the spiritual eye, the two eyes in your skull. You understand what I'm saying? The eyes in your soul, your conscience. You understand what I'm saying? Your gut, your intuition, your gut feeling. All of these are eyes that we must use at this time. You see, we must use them all and weigh shit. Don't dismiss shit, because that's how they want you to dismiss it, because that's how they're gonna get away with it. When you don't think it's possible, don't weigh every fucking thing in the scales. Think about it, and don't throw it away too quick. Leave it there. Think about it. Ask yourself, what if? And answer it. And answer it. And re-answer it if you have to. When you come, you might not be privy to all the information. When you come into some new information, reevaluate the answer. But don't throw away shit, because that's how a motherfucker get over on you. And when you don't think that shit is possible and a motherfucker won't do it, that's what they're gonna do. Especially if they know you believe that. That's exactly where they're gonna go to defeat your ass. All right, family, heading to Patreon. We got another powerful, presentation tonight. If you can get over there to Patreon, most definitely, we about to turn the heat up. All right, family, this is the General saying thank you for being here today. KingSeti.com, GeneralSeti.com, and my Patreon, General Cyrus Seti. Get on over there, get some of that fire, subscribe. General Seti, King, Cyrus Seti, and King Seti YouTube page. Make sure you rock the notification bell. Give all the videos a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Thank you for being in the house. This is the General saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.